For today's session, I will provide a brief overview of how to effectively manage your assets along with CM and PM work orders within your hospital or clinic using the Cynch software platform. This is the primary splash page, which serves as the central hub where your dedicated nursing team or administrative staff can efficiently oversee and manage all of your essential assets. Furthermore, this versatile page is designed to run seamlessly on any subdomain of your choosing, including any custom Cynch subdomain you might prefer to utilize. For instance, it could be something like denvervalleyhospital.cynch.com. You can use cynch.me, or it can be configured to run on your own domain name as a subdomain as well. So if your domain were denvervalleyhospital.org, for example, this could easily run on assets.denvervalleyhospital.org or perhaps htm.denvervalleyhospital.org, and so on and so forth. It's incredibly easy to set up. There's no server-side code or anything else for you to configure on your end. We simply provide you with some DNS entries for your IT team to point that specific subdomain to our code base, and everything will run from there. This splash page, or perhaps the home page, is designed to be incredibly and highly customizable for your specific needs. We have gone ahead and configured a few items here to serve as clear examples of what is actually possible. So when someone happens to land on this page in order to report an issue regarding a particular asset, they are able to search for it directly by using an asset name, a tag, or even a serial number. Please keep in mind that they are not actually required to be logged in to perform this action. You have the option to require every user to log in before they access it, or if you have thousands of nurses and do not want to deal with the hassle of logins, you can configure the system so they do not have to. They can simply come to this page, search by the identification number, pull up the asset, and file their report. I will demonstrate that to you in just a moment once we have had the chance to dive a little bit deeper. We are also demonstrating to them that if you need to report a specific issue with an asset, all you have to do is walk up, locate this tag, and scan the QR code. Cynch tags feature 3 distinct numbers. One of those is your primary barcode. Once you're logged in, say in the biomed department, just walk up with your scanner, scan the barcode, and the software pulls up the asset. Remember, you must be logged in for this to work. This QR code contains a unique security key. Simply scan it with your phone at the station. No login is required. It automatically pulls up a limited view of the asset. I'll demonstrate how it works in a moment. So, to reiterate, this is what you would share with your internal team to show them how to manage assets and report any issues. We would then create a custom video for you. We have a sample video here, but we will produce a tailored one for your team that explains exactly what they need to do to report a problem with an asset. Everyone is able to simply log in right here. And this can be configured by we can also set up single sign-on and Active Directory integration here so that they are logged in completely automatically. However, for now, I am just going to log in quickly using my own username and password. You might notice that I am not being redirected to any other page at all. Only a few of the menu items actually change, which means I am still on the exact same subdomain, primarily because we are currently running a single-page application. To begin, I will start by looking at the asset list. Let us drill down further into the list and then navigate into a specific facility or a particular location. In this particular instance, we are going to drill down to the Specialty Surgery Center for our demonstration today. And over here, you'll see that we're managing 480 assets for, this could be a location, a specific building, a floor, or a department that we're drilling down into and managing. As I'm walking you through the demo, I want you to take note of how fast our software runs. Let me just go back to the previous page. So in our entire hospital here, we have, if I click this X, I'll return to the original 18,000 assets that were just loaded. And again, I'm just going to drill down into this Specialty Surgery Center, see how fast we're moving back and forth. I'm back down to the 480 assets I have under management at this location. There are some pretty standard columns and information on this list, but there are also things you wouldn't normally see in a list like this. For example, some of those fields mean I don't have to drill down into this specific asset to see which orders it's on. I can clearly see this specific data point right here in this column. Furthermore, these 3 columns would usually require me to manually drill through several layers in other software to find this info. However, thanks to our software's efficiency and advanced tech, you can simply view it right here on the asset list. So I can see the most recent PM when it's due next, the interval, and the specific PM we're performing. I can also check the status. In this case, this one is up, and down here, this one is down. I can also come over here to see the open reports. These are the open problem reports we have for this asset. Again, I can see all of that right here in this asset list without having to drill down. I'll run through this process quickly today. If we drill down into one specific asset, let's take a closer look at this defibrillator. You'll see a vast amount of technical information available to us. I won't cover every single detail, but I want to highlight a powerful, flexible feature we call assignments, which is quite useful. In this demo, we're only tracking location, but assignments can range from specific technicians and departments to different types, floors, or even various biomed teams, for example. And so, they're very flexible. As I scroll down, there's a whole bunch of fields here that I've configured in this demo set. I'm not going to go through all of them. It's just to show you the kinds of things we can track, everything from MAC addresses to RAM limits, and even the digital assets we're tracking. So those can all be configured. If I click on my maintenance tab, I can see the PMs that we perform on this. The PM we perform is this AED Plus checklist. If I expand that, I can see the orders or log entries that were completed and when this specific checklist was satisfied. In this case, there's only one. If I go to my orders tab, I can see the orders this particular asset has been assigned to or is currently open for. I have a bunch of other tabs here that I won't go into. I can see the history of statuses, recalls, checklists, and a whole bunch of other things that I won't cover right now. So I'll jump from here over to our order list. Again, notice how fast this loads. So I'll head back to my asset, then jump back to my order list. I'll be going back and forth a few times here, guys. This is how fast the software runs all day long. I'm doing this demo in the middle of a busy day. There are thousands of technicians around the world working on the software today, and this is how fast it still runs. So here is my order list. Again, it's just basic information. I have my order number. If I happen to have a purchase order associated with it, I can track that. I am aware of what specific type of order it is, so the majority of the items we are looking at here are PM orders. Down here, I have a clear example of a CM order, which is a corrective maintenance order. And then for my customer company, whether it's a hospital or a clinic, that's the department or location where I'm actually doing the work. I can see when the order was entered and when it's scheduled to be completed. I have my status right here, and if I'm tracking costs, I can include those here as well. So I'll drill down into this top order here. So this is a PM order. In a PM order, I can include multiple assets on the same order. So for this particular PM order, I have actually included 3 PMs. These gray boxes are here to show me the specific assets that I'm currently working on. This section clearly indicates the exact type of service that I'm currently performing on this particular asset. These items here represent all the various checklists that I'm running for this task. I am able to drill down into these options to take a closer look at the checklist details. This is where I've gathered all the relevant information from my checklist. I can track exactly who performed each task and when, who reviewed, approved, or rejected items, and any notes they included. I even have the option to track time spent here if I choose. I can track time automatically, but if my technicians have a specific task that takes extra time, like if they spend 30 minutes fixing something, they can enter that information here so we can track it. I can also upload images to show what I've checked, or if I run into a problem, I can show exactly what those issues were. Now, if I take a moment to scroll all the way down to the bottom of this list, I can see that I performed a prompt electrical safety test on this asset, and all of my readings from that device are listed right here. I can also track exactly which prompt device and serial number were used, which helps me ensure it was fully compliant and properly calibrated before I ran the checks on this specific asset. This process is fully automatic thanks to our prompt integration, and we provide seamless support for a wide range of other testing equipment like Fluke. Back to the order. If I had uploaded any images, they would appear right here on the right. And again, if I have assignments, if I'm assigning this to particular technicians, I can do that down here. So I'll assign this particular order to Todd. I also possess the functional capability to assign individual line items to specific technicians. For instance, if I am working on a large-scale preventative maintenance order for 1,000 or 2,000 patient beds, I can easily configure the system so those tasks are assigned to different technicians on my biomed team. Now, if I find that I need to add some additional replacement parts to this order, I am able to do that right here. I can search for any specific products within my entire catalog. So if I need to add this power switch to the order, it is very simple for me to just come up here and add it. I am also able to include those items directly into the line items. So if I need to track exactly what was installed on a particular line item, I am certainly able to do that as well. I will not go into too much detail during this brief demo, but this system also integrates with the marketplace, allowing me to search for products and parts that are specific to this patient monitor. I'll get a compatibility chart for everything that fits this patient monitor. If I'm replacing a circuit board or similar component, it will appear here in the parts marketplace where I can purchase it directly. Alternatively, if I already have an existing relationship with a vendor like GE, I can add them to the order, go to my POs tab, and send a purchase order to GE for that specific item. Now, I would like to take a moment to jump back to my primary asset list. If you recall, while looking at my asset list, I specifically mentioned these open reports or problem reports right here. Allow me to demonstrate exactly how those specific items are entered into the system. If I simply hover my cursor over these and there happens to be more than one report, I will see them all listed right here. Once again, I do not have to drill down into the details. I can see everything I need to know right here. I am able to view the specific problem report, identify exactly who submitted it, and see the precise time it was entered into the system. On our primary splash page, or the portal page as we refer to it, where we provide instructions to nurses on how to report various issues, there are several different ways they can access the asset. They have the option to search by the asset number or the serial number, or they can simply walk right up and scan the QR code. And if they choose to do that, this is exactly what they will see on their screen. They'll see this page here. Again, they're not logged in. In this particular case, we have it configured so the only thing they can see is a picture of what the model looks like. They can see what type of asset this is, as well as the make and the actual model. We don't show them any other information about that particular asset, such as the serial number or any other identifying information. What we can configure here, which we've done in many cases because the Joint Commission likes it, is to show the most recent PMs. And again, this is public information, so if a customer or a patient walked up and scanned it, they would see this information. But someone from the Joint Commission can also walk up and scan this information, and then they can see the most recent PMs here. Again, this is something you can configure if you'd like, but you don't necessarily have to. Now, if I'm a nurse, all I have to do is walk up, scan the tag, and then I can report my problem here, saying that the switch doesn't work, right? They'll be doing this on their phone. I click Send Problem. I can send so since I'm not logged in, I'm prompted to provide some information. In this case, it's configured to ask for a phone number and location, though the only required field is the email address. I'll just enter my email address here. This is also highly configurable. For example, we can ask them to enter their badge number. It's easy for a nurse to report a problem. They just enter the issue, add their email address, and hit send. They get a confirmation right here that it's been sent. They'll also receive an email, so we tell them to check their inbox or spam folder in a few minutes. We let them know we've received their report, and we'll get back to them soon. As we work on the issue, we'll send them updates. That's how easy it is to get a problem into the system. If I come back over here and refresh my page, you can see that I now have a second problem report for this asset up here. So that's how these problem reports get into the system. I will not delve into excessive detail regarding how this specific workflow can be configured, simply because there are an incredibly vast number of ways to set it up. For instance, a specific department or even an individual user can receive an incoming email notification. This can then trigger an API to automatically feed that vital information directly into another external ticketing system. And it can also generate actionable items for a designated person or department to properly handle and triage. But once more, the core objective is to ensure that it is quick and straightforward for anyone operating the equipment within a hospital or medical clinic to report any technical problem they encounter, so that we can hopefully triage the issue immediately and provide them with a response in mere minutes rather than waiting for several days. If you look over at the menu on the left-hand side of the screen, you will see a standard hamburger icon. Clicking on the dashboard link takes me directly to my personal collection of dashboards. These are highly configurable, and this is exactly where I can find all the information I need to effectively manage my department or the various complex workflows I am currently working on. You can set up multiple dashboards using these tabs. This is my main dashboard where I land by default, and I have another one configured for KPIs. I can create as many of these tabs as I need. And these are fully customizable for each individual user. So I really won't dive into too much more detail on this right now. There is also an entire analytics system available to you. What I will emphasize is that every single number being reported here is live, updated within the last second or two. So you can be sure there is absolutely no delay. There's no need to wait for data to refresh at midnight next Saturday or whenever that scheduled update might happen. Because of the sophisticated technology we are utilizing, this is all completely live data, and it loads with incredible speed. The information you see loading on your screen is pulled live from our reporting engine and is accurate to the very last second. That is all the information we have prepared for today's brief demonstration. We wanted to keep this presentation as concise as possible. Thank you so much for your time.